Hello, I'm Marcus Ellison,
And I'm Rashawn Thomas.
Manuel Tony.
Jeff Beverly.
and this video is over how the Islanders affect the local economy.
Okay, first, what's your name?
Name is Chad Cardhauser. I'm the Assistant AD for Business and Finance here at Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Okay, so I just have a few questions for you. How do you think our college basketball team here affects the school's admission rate?
I think it generally will have a positive impact on it. Just speaking from what happened last year, we were interviewing for a new dean in the College of Business, and our boss that we report to, Dr. Trent Hill, was involved in that process, and they were interviewing somebody from Florida Gulf Coast. As you know, Florida Gulf Coast had a pretty good run last year, going to the Sweet 16. And they asked them what the impact, when she was being interviewed, they asked what the impact was that on their admissions. And she goes, with the amount of advertising for the university that they got, their applications were up 150% just from that exposure alone. Not to mention the countless, just being on national TV for that period of time. I don't think any amount of money you put towards marketing could even come close to that amount of advertising that you could get for being on a national television stage for that period of time.
Right. So would that factor into the overall economy of the school? Like, how does that factor in?
I think, generally, for students, I think a big selling point sometimes would be attendance at basketball games. Students, can't really get into the mind of a student of why they come to a school,
Right.
but I think you'd be lying if somebody at Duke didn't say, "Wow, to be able to go to Cameron Indoor Arena and
Right.
sit, be in the student section there was a huge selling point for them." Going to a place like Kansas, going to Indiana, the history, Kentucky, those types of schools. I think that it's a huge selling point. I think also, just kind of what it has, on our economy. It's the biggest revenue producer that we can have, sport-wise. It is the one sport that we offer that can actually be considered a revenue-producing sport, whereas we can bring in the amount of revenue that exceeds the expenses that we go out for scholarships, team travel expenses, recruiting, any other scholarships, those types of things. It is the one sport that we offer that we can actually be able, that we can legitimately be able to do that.
So what ways do you think that we can increase the economic output? Does that make sense?
Economic output. I think one thing that happened this year that I think is going to help immensely is the fact that it was a successful year for you guys. Coach Wilson, the job you guys did, having success on the court as well as in the classroom. Getting your APR rates to where they need to be, getting off probation, being able to be eligible for the Southland Conference tournament. The model is there to show that if you have that type of success, that take a look at a school like Gonzaga, take a look at a school like Butler. Even though Butler does offer football, it's a non-scholarship or a Division III model, even though they're Division I. That there's a blueprint out there for bringing economic success to a school based off of how the men's basketball team does. I think you do that. Another thing is I think it's really marketing it as as an entertainment, as something to do. Corpus Christi crowds are notoriously kind of late arriving and kind of not into the game, but if you take a look at our homecoming game, I think about the Rice game, the crowds were really, really going in those, and I mean, it comes a fun environment. It's kind of like, must-see TV on television. It's
Right.
what we need to be at the Islanders game, because we know we're going to see a great product, and we know, kids are going to play hard, and we know that it's going to be a fun event to go to.
So,
And
go ahead.
And I was going to say, I think it's also very economically, to take it a family out to a game. I think it's very economical right now for us to be able to do that, and I think that can just increase the revenue that we can get from it.
So, like you mentioned, bringing like the family to games. What other ways do you think it affects the community?
I think it definitely gives a sense of pride to the community, just like it does to the school. If you identify, a lot of our donors are people who didn't attend Texas A&M Corpus Christi, but they identify with the team and their success. They feel, as a donor, they're a part of that. If you bring the family and they make a connection with one of the players, hey, that's my favorite player, then they're going to come to that game. They're going to want to be there, and they're going to want to see that product. So yeah, I think that that's it's probably a big portion of it.
Okay. I mean, that's all I got for you today.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, can you state your name and what your job is?
My name is Kyler Faust. I'm the marketing coordinator for the athletic department.
Okay. I have a few questions for you today.
Okay.
The first question is, on an average, how much money do you think the athletics produce?
For marketing, we usually have a budget of about $100,000.
Okay. And do you know where this money goes?
It is divided between all 6 sports that would produce revenue, and then depending on what we're using it for, we do a lot of graphic design, posters for all the different sports. Basketball usually gets the most amount of money, as far as TV, billboards, that kind of stuff, and then we have miscellaneous for, we have Blue Crew, they get a portion of the money as well. Sponsors hopefully give us some money that we're able to use depending on just kind of depends on what our contract is with them. So the money is really dispersed throughout the sports and ways we can produce signs or different ways to market throughout the campus and throughout the community.
Okay, and the last question, in your own opinion, how do you think our basketball team affects the economy, the local economy to be exact?
I think our basketball team is definitely a positive influence for the local economy. I know it's a lot of struggle as far as getting a lot of things going on, and so we have struggled just getting people there in general, but I think economy-wise it can only help increase attendance and help increase people coming down to the university and bringing more people here, which will make our economy as a community go higher.
Okay, thank you, that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, can you state your name and what your job is here on campus, please?
Sure. My name is Stephen King. I'm the Director of Corporate Sales for Islanders Athletics.
Okay. So, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions today. The first question is, what contract does a men's basketball team have with the American Bank Center?
Well, the one thing about it, it's not necessarily a men's basketball contract. What it is a contract with Islanders Athletics as a whole, because of course we incorporate men's and women's basketball, so it's not specific. But it's with Islanders Athletics with the American Bank Center. We're currently in a 3-year contract with them that will expire in August of 2015. We're in a current renewal. We've been with them since I believe, and hopefully I'm not mistaken here, but 2005, 2006. And we've had a series of renewals each time with terms changing along the way.
Oh, okay. How and when did this contract originate?
Well, like I said, back in 2005, 2006, when the city announced that they were going to be building this new facility, it was something that we felt we definitely wanted to be a part of. We wanted to be in that facility. We previously had played at the Memorial Coliseum, and while the place had its charm, that was the past, and this was the future of our city. We definitely want to be a part of that because we feel as the Island University, we're a substantial piece of this community. You know, we're a cornerstone actually of this community now, and to showcase what we do, it was important that we did just that, and be a part of the American Bank Center.
Okay, so economically, how do you think the basketball team and the contract with the bank center and everything, how do you think that affects the community economically?
The one thing about being a conference room, there's always a printer possibly going off when you never know. Well, the one thing about that, with Islander Athletics being involved in there, of course, economically you have the fan population going out and pulling them into the downtown area, spending the ticket revenue, concessions revenue, additional revenue downtown, whether that's at restaurants, et cetera. And that's just our fan base that we're talking about here, and the money that they pay into the institution, possibly for their season tickets, and in addition to other things. Of course, our sponsors, the sponsors who pay a lot of money as well to be partnered with Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi, in that relationship. So there's obviously money moving and allowing the economy to grow. But the teams that are coming in, the teams that we face, They come into town, they've got to get hotels. Sometimes they do rent cars. And of course, they eat. And so restaurant business, hotel industry, all the taxes, hotel, motel sales taxes that come with all of that, all of course helps our revenue. With those teams come their fan bases that travel with them. Again, restaurants, hotels, and outside of the games, they're spending a lot of time at our tourist attractions here in Corpus Christi as well.
Okay.
So under athletics and men's basketball in particular, they bring people to town and they enhance part of our tourist rate, in my opinion.
Yes. Well, that's all the questions we have for you today. Thank you for your time.
I interviewed Sean Kelly, Director of Ticket Promotion. Sean Kelly, how do you promote ticket sales? What did he say about that?
He said they promote them by purchasing billboards, mailing out odd team schedules, and also passing out flyers to local HEBs, really any way to gain the core people attention.
Okay. How did he say that ticket sales affect the money coming into the program directly?
A whole lot. Really, the more ticket sales, the more revenue comes into our program. The more money we have to purchase things like athletic gear, apparel, stuff like that.
Mm. So in your opinion, how do you think the basketball team affects the community?
Mr. Kelly said it brings the community together, helps them interact and engage and be more together.
Okay. I guess that's it for